So for most of us, I'm definitely sure about me, when I first recorded my voice note and I sent it to a friend, it was one of the most cringy moment for me personally. I was so surprised that is this how I sound? And then there were other moments like me recording my first video and then watching it. And there have been other situations. We have seen so many second-hand embarrassments. We have like a whole compilation of cringe moments online. And all these emotions we feel, when we are in that situation, all of this has built into every single human being. And every single emotions like anger, happiness is there to serve a purpose. So in this video, I wanted to talk about why do we feel cringe? You can say shame as well and embarrassment as well. All of these kind of revolves around the same issue, and you can give different terms in different scenarios. But in this video, we are going to be looking all of these scenarios in terms of self-growth and self-improvement. So without any further delay, let's begin the video. So first of all, why do we even feel this shame or cringe or embarrassment? And where does it come from? And what purpose does it serve? So as a human, when we were living in tribes and when we were living in very small communities where we had to rely on each other to be part of a social group to survive. So during those time of our evolution, we started, getting these emotions. The source of all these is still unknown. But what most of the people have kind of concluded is that we felt these emotions so we can reflect upon them and kind of change our behavior so we can fit into our social group. Let's say, for example, you did something shameful. You stole something from your tribe mate. So what will be the result? The tribe will start looking at you differently. They will start avoiding you. They will stop including you into social situations. And as a human, as a social being, we are designed to be in social situations. And those kind of emotions are there to reflect upon these and to make necessary changes to fit within the society. Now let's come back to the 21st century and 2024. When we look at all these, what we as a humans have been doing, we have been, using these to suppress our emotions and our awkwardness. Now in today's day of social media where we pass so much judgment on others, we as a human always have felt those same emotions, and we have always tried to change ourselves to fit in those social situations. But now it's a modern world. You don't need to please a particular group of people to get accepted. Everyone is unique, but everyone have some common features where we like to belong to a certain kind of community, where we can embrace that cringe, where we don't feel embarrassed and where we don't feel any shame. Now the question comes, what to do with all those emotions and how we can use this to help ourselves grow. So whenever we try to understand our emotions better, we are building our emotional intelligence, which is, I'll say, one of the biggest factor to grow as a person. There are many different resources online. There have been many different what can I say, advice over internet, like how you can be a better, let's say, singer. They can coach you, they can do a lot of things, but all of these things come after. First of all, we need to understand ourselves and understand our emotions and how we can use those emotions, or not use those emotions, but rather reflect upon those emotions to be a better person. So usually what happens when we feel these kind of emotions, what our mind tend to does is it avoid that situation again, so we don't have to feel those emotions again. So we are basically suppressing all these emotions, and then we start avoiding social situations. We start restricting ourselves to a very limited opportunity, let's say. So instead of suppressing those emotions, we need to understand them and reflect on them. Now if you want to make the change today, one of the biggest tool we have is journaling. So understanding why we felt what we felt and reflecting upon that gives us a better understanding of our emotion. Let me give you a very simple example. The voice note one. So when we hear ourselves for the first time, we feel so cringe. We feel, I'm not going to send this voice note to the other person, because if it's cringe for me, it's going to be cringe for other person. But if you kind of reflect upon that, when was the last time you ever listened to someone voice note and thought it's cringe? You just assumed, yeah, that is fine. But when we listen to ourselves, we kind of make that judgment that other person is going to think something of us. This is one of the very basic truth, if I can put this across. So think about it. When you are in your day-to-day life, you are meeting people, you are doing things, you are studying, you are, just in your bed. When was the last time you were just in the bed and were thinking about someone else's action and thinking, oh yeah, that action was cringe? And even if you did, what was the point? Right? Let's say you saw a person making a TikTok video on the street and they were just dancing. You might just think, oh, it's so cringe, and then you just move on. You might think about it a couple of days later, you might think about it a month later, but you'll just think, oh yeah, there was a person, and then you'll just forget about it. Now, if we take the same analogy and we apply it to ourselves, no one else gives a fuck about our actions or what we say or what we feel. So only person who cares how I feel is me. So when I'm in an awkward situation or an embarrassing situation, only person who's feeling that embarrassment is me. And we usually think that everyone else is looking at us, and then we feel kind of like embarrassment or shame. Like, these are all vague terms, you can use whatever you want, but that is not the truth. Like, they might think about it for a sec, they might think about it for the rest of their day, but they are going to move on. But we usually tend to keep hold of our emotions, or not even hold them, we kind of suppresses them by just scrolling on Facebook, or just kind of distracting ourselves. But what happens when the same situation arises again? If we haven't reflected upon our emotions and we haven't understood that why we felt the certain need, we're gonna be doing the same thing, and then we're gonna be embarrassed again, and then our mind will actively try to avoid that kind of situation. For some of us, let's say you want to be a content creator, so if you get cringe by watching your own videos, you need to understand why you're feeling the cringe, and I'm pretty sure the basic emotions behind it, that what will other people think. So as a creator myself who has been making YouTube videos since 2020, I'll be very honest, nobody gives a fuck. I understand that you might have these emotions, which is completely fine. Let's move on to another example. You might have gone to speak something for the first time, you build up the courage and went on a stage or went in front of a class to speak something, but you misspelled a word, or you kind of like fucked up. So at that point you might feel embarrassed, and then the next time you'll just won't do it. Another example, you're in a class, if you go and sit in the front, the teacher might ask you a question, and if you're able to give answer, it's fine, but if you're not able to give the answer, you might feel that everyone is looking at you, and you might feel a bit of embarrassment or shame. And then what your mind will do whenever you go into the class next time, you're just gonna avoid the front seat, and you might sit in middle, or you might sit at the back. And this is how our mind plays tricks on us, and it is not doing it on purpose. It is just there to protect us. Again, if you have to grow in life, you have to control your mind. We usually have this thing called monkey mind, which basically means we are animal. If it start controlling us, we will be completely gone. And the more you control your mind, the more you grow as a person. And that is why we are the only intelligent species. If you look at it, our biology is fine, it takes care of itself. All the other animals' biology and natural things take care of themselves, but we are the only intelligent species, and it is because we have the ability to control our mind. So now, how we can improve? There's a very simple solution. Let me just tell you something. Whatever skill you are trying, let's say you want to be a better athlete, you have to practice a lot. You want to be a better painter, you have to practice a lot. Whatever you do in life, whatever external skills you learn, you have to practice them a lot, and that's how you get good. It works the same with our emotions. We can't just make a change overnight. Like every other skill, it takes time. So the best thing we can do is just take small steps. So if you want to grow as a content creator, the best thing you can do is record the video and look at the video. You might feel cringe at one point, like first time you might feel cringe, play it again. Like literally there is no one, you are just putting yourself through that situation. It's like running, it's like going to gym. You have to kind of feel the initial pain to make it kind of numb, and then you won't feel cringe by looking at your videos anymore, and then you can focus on the video and see it from a perspective where you can make better judgment about your content. So you can look at the quality of the video, you can look how you are presenting your video, you can look how you are speaking, and all the other things which comes with it. Same thing, let's say you went in front of a class and you started saying something and you kind of like misspoke or said something you didn't mean to. So at that point, what you can do is kind of volunteer again to do the same thing, because the more you go in front, the more confident you will get. And then when you get confident, you get better at handling situations, because this is how we grow. You look at it like there's an obstacle in between. You can either jump, you can take any example you want to, but to reach the other side, you have to, cross the river or jump over the fire or whatever. And I'm very sorry to say there's no other way around it. And if you don't want to grow in that aspect, that is fine. You don't have to do it. But this is the harsh truth. Whatever we want to do in life, if you want to, get somewhere, we have to put in the work. There is hardly any shortcut. Yet, yes, people can get lucky on probability, but if you're going to rely on that, that is fine as well, as long as you're happy with whoever you are and whatever you are doing. Now, there was one more example about the class incident where a teacher asked you a question. So this is kind of like one of the skills we develop. I recently learned 2 examples from Healthy Gamer GG. One was the class example, which I'm going to share. So basically, if you are sitting in front and we feel that shame when teacher asked the question and we are not able to give the answer, what we do if we go home and we don't address that emotion. So what we usually do, we'll go home and then we'll just forget about it. We'll start playing video games, we'll start playing with our friends, and just get busy in other assignments and everything. But if you look at the more painful and technically the right way to get over it is for you to go home and study on that subject. So next time you go into the class, you're going to go in front because now you have studied the subject. So you are a bit more confident in yourself that next time if teacher asks you any question, you will be able to answer it. And this is how our life works. Whatever we want to do, you have to learn this skill. And there was another example he gave, you can play a certain game for certain amount of hours. Let's say someone play one game for thousands of hours. Let's say FIFA. I play FIFA a lot. So let's take the example of FIFA. So if someone has played FIFA for 1,000 hours and someone has played FIFA for, let's say, 200 or 300 hours, and that person is very good, only with 200 and 300 hours, that person is very, very good. And the person who has played 1,000 hours might be thinking, why is that? So one of the reasons can be the person who has only played 200 to 300 hours might have reflected upon his games a lot. So he might watch replays that why he conceded a goal. He might watch replays that what caused him to score a goal. So he might try that tactic again. He might be learning from it. And this is how, the world runs. Now, the reason we play better in the game is not because of our experience, because we have played more, is because we need to reflect upon it. So this is why, football teams are so much better, because they have so much staff. They analyze the game, they reflect upon their performance, what went wrong, what went good, how we can improve that area, how we can not improve that area. Every business does that. A lot of people do that. And this is one of the key to grow in life. If you are not accepting where you lack, you will never gonna grow in that aspect of your life. And to understand if you lack in that situation or not, you have to do some sort of self-reflection. And whenever I say self-reflection, it does not mean that you put blame on yourself. It's about understanding, okay, this happened, this was wrong, this was right. How can I make it better? It's not about just going into the emotion and saying, oh, this has happened, nothing is going to change. There's always a new day. There's always going to be tomorrow. So you can always reflect upon your day today and see what improvement and changes you can make tomorrow to be a better person. Now, hopefully I have made my point across about the importance of feeling the shame and embarrassment and all these emotions and reflecting upon them to be a better person. So now, if you do like this video, please hit the like button. If you have any thoughts, please comment down below. If you can share your cringe moment with the comment section, and then you'll just get over it. It will be kind of journaling about it. And I personally believe that to be cringeworthy, you need to be a bit more courageous. So even going to a party and talking to someone takes a lot of courage. And I made a video about courage. It will be on your screen right now. So if you want to check it out, please go and have a look. And I will see you in that video. Goodbye.